Can we talk about the X-Men animated series? Because before this show, I actually hated the X-Men.
What did he say?
The movies have done them no real favors, and honestly, this show is really hit and miss. And yet, after 5 seasons, the X-Men are actually my favorite Marvel team. So how did a 90s Saturday morning cartoon accomplish what the movies couldn't? Let's talk about it. Everybody's been talking about and hyping up the new X-Men 97 show, but I actually hadn't seen the animated show. So I wanted to start at the beginning to hopefully get all of the necessary information that I would need to start the new show. Because I've heard that's fantastic. But the X-Men, the animated series, is also good in its own right, even though I find it really hit and miss. It's a seminal piece in the 90s, definitely one of the best superhero animated shows. It introduced a whole generation to the X-Men. It's campy, but it was made for kids, so it makes a lot of sense. And it was an important adaptation of the comics. No, they couldn't do every arc beat for beat because it was made for kids and the X-Men get dark at points. But you get the general gist of what the X-Men are about. The mutants are hated in the show. The X-Men fight the villains from the comics. They do a ton of time travel. They fight in space at points. They go to the Savage Lands. They fight Apocalypse. They deal with the Shi'ar. And of course, Magneto is a prominent figure in the show. Some of the stories are fantastic. Some are boring. Some are very obviously written for children. And yet, I kept watching. Why? Because of the characters. The one thing this show did right was nail the characterization of these heroes. I basically hated the X-Men before watching the show, except for this guy, Wolverine. I mean, who doesn't love him as a character? But before the show, he was just a cool guy who ripped shit up. After watching the show, I understand his character a lot more. He's angry, he's stubborn, he's violent, just like in the movies, but they also show the other side of him. He's always willing to protect anybody. He always goes to bat for anybody that's being wronged in this show. And that's really endearing quality. And you get more of the, I'm trying not to be the animal that Sabretooth is, I'm trying to be a mutant fighting for what's right. Something that they brought over from the comics. And man, did that just make me like him even more. I think Hugh Jackman's done a terrific job at portraying that, especially in the Wolverine solo movies. I don't know, I just never connected with him as much as I have now watching the show and having read some of his comics. He's just portrayed in such a different light that he becomes more of the character that everyone loves, and I understand why everyone loves him now. He's now become one of my favorite superheroes of all time, behind only Batman and Daredevil. He's not only cool because he's a guy who rips shit apart. He's great because he constantly wants to protect people. He's constantly fighting his nature to be a better man, and I can really respect that. Someone this show has also done a great justice to is Cyclops. I mean, everyone has seen the movies. He is just basically Jean's boyfriend and then dies in X-Men The Last Stand for no fucking reason. At first in the show, he's not always right, but you see him become the leader that he's meant to be. It's hard making those kinds of choices. I mean, I think in episode 1 or 2, he has to leave Morph behind, and you can see how hard of a decision that is because that storyline goes up until I think season 3 where Morph comes back into the fold. But with the show and how long it was running, we got to see more of a character arc than just being Jean Grey's boyfriend and husband eventually. And now Cyclops has went from a character I didn't even care about to being my second favorite X-Man because the show gives you time to just understand these characters. Rogue is another character that I love so much, but because the show gave her time to shine. I didn't even know that she had a southern accent until watching the show. They did her so wrong in those movies. Not that it was Anna Paquin's fault because that was the script and that was the directors at the time. Rogue in the show is just a completely different character. She has heart. She was a villain at one point who came over to the X-Men to do better. I think that episode where we see her accidentally putting Miss Marvel into a coma and then her having to fight Miss Marvel in that coma was really interesting, and it just again added another dimension to her character that wasn't seen on screen before. You'd have to have read the comics to know all this, and honestly it's intimidating because of how much of a back history the X-Men have. So it's really great that in this show Rogue can even shine. I know Beast is a beloved character in the movies, but I think they just do him all the more better in these shows. He's intelligent, he's funny, he's caring. He has his own episode where he falls in love with a woman, but he decides it's better if he remains out of her life to keep her from harm. We got to see another side of him other than just the big smart guy. And then the one character that snuck up on me the most was Nightcrawler. I love that episode of him in Germany. He's really misunderstood, but you can just feel his earnestness and I love that his faith is so central to his role. He wants to protect people, but he also wants to see the best in people because of his Catholic faith. But I think the best thing the show does is show the team and its dynamics. Some episodes will have Cyclops and Wolverine working together, some will have Beast and Gambit and Rogue, some will be Jean Grey, Storm, and Rogue. I just love how they throw all the characters together at different points, show them working together in different ways, and showing them bounce off each other to solve the problem of that episode. And I think that even goes for the villains, because my favorite story arc in this whole animated series was the Beyond Good and Evil. It felt like an Avengers level event for the 90s. We had Apocalypse and Magneto and Mr. Sinister teaming up, Cable's brought back in, Bishop's back in, all the X-Men, some of Magneto's team. It was just crazy how many different people came together. We saw Shi'ar in there at one point. It was just really fun to see all those characters that had been built up over 4 seasons finally be brought together. It was a really unique and interesting plot point that I didn't think the show would get to. But I think that really lends to how much the show was trying to do. Yes, it was a show made for kids, but it was trying to adapt the comics pretty faithfully. I think they really did a great job with the characterization in the show, and some of the arcs were really great, but on the other hand, some of these were just really boring and a little hammed up for being a kid's show. The season 2 Savage Land cutaways were one of my least favorite things to get through. I absolutely hated going back to the Savage Lands with Magneto and Xavier. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't feel a great attachment to Magneto and Xavier, or just because, it was definitely getting off the rails. Like they had Kazar and his saber-toothed tiger.
Why do saber-type Tugas not even exist anymore?
And Sauron is gotta be one of the dumbest Marvel characters that I've ever heard of. He's named after Sauron from Lord of the Rings, which is just ridiculous in its own right. But getting through those parts in season 2 took me a bit. And I think the other part that's taken me the longest is just getting through season 5. Season 5 has the biggest drop off in quality. The animation sucks. The voice acting sucked, and I'm glad to be done with it. And man, the mutant discrimination storyline just started to slog also in season 1. I know it's central to their characters, and it makes a lot of sense, and that's what the comics did, but I'm glad they kind of tried to evolve other stories into this as well, because seeing the Sentinels for the 100th time in season 1, I was like, okay, we get it. They're gonna do the exact same thing. Can we move on from this? So I'm glad to have seen other storylines along with it. My favorite probably is Apocalypse, but they did bring a lot of cool ideas from the comics. I think my other least favorite storyline, which is really sad, is the Phoenix Saga, because I know it's going to be really good when I read that comic, but I don't know if they did it well in the show. The Shi'ar Empire is just, I don't know, it just got a little goofy there. I wasn't buying into the whole M'Kraan crystal, and I think the Phoenix is really cool, and I love that it gave Jean Grey a way to get past the damsel in distress role that she was in, because I know that's why Chris Claremont invented this storyline, to give her more of a role. But I don't know if the show adapted it well enough from the comics. I'll have to get to that, and hopefully I can make another video on that when I can compare both of them. But man, it lost me in parts. It just felt like a 90s Saturday morning cartoon. But I get it, because it's a kid's show. There was strict rules in the show to make sure that it was not inappropriate for children. So I can't judge it too harshly on that, but it definitely became a little bit of a slog. And then this might be my most controversial point, but I absolutely still don't care about Gambit. I don't know why he's a fan favorite. He's got a cool power. I understand it a little bit more now. At first he was just really fucking cheesy, but now I understand he can channel energy through the cards, and that's why he's throwing them, because it's a good, easy way to use his power. I still just don't care about him. I don't know. He just doesn't scream cool character to me. But maybe I'm wrong. I think a lot of people have a nostalgia for him because of the show. Despite all that, I still think this is a solid show. Some stories don't land like I think they're supposed to. Some of the show just really drags, and the show can feel dated at points. But I absolutely love the X-Men team now. I started this show wanting to understand why people love the X-Men, and I finished it wanting to read the comics, because the show doesn't always nail the stories, but it does make you care about the characters. And honestly, I think that's all it needed to do. Let me know what you think about the X-Men animated series down below. I'm actually really excited now to start X-Men 97 now that I have all the context. I think it was important that I did it this way because of that Beyond Good and Evil arc. It brought together a lot of the storylines that had come before it. So now I'm excited to start X-Men 97 because I'll have all that context. Yeah, I could have read a ton of comics before it, but like I said, I wasn't into the X-Men before the show. The movies just kind of soured me on them. But now, Wolverine's one of my favorite characters. I love Cyclops. I love Rogue. I love most of the team. Even Storm has more of a personality in the show. So I think the X-Men animated series did a lot to make the X-Men just that much cooler, especially if you didn't have access to all those comics. now I know there are a lot of options that you can read their entire backlog, and I'm going to go through those as well. So yeah, I'm just really excited. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch something else, go check out this video that's on screen now. I recently watched Spider-Man Brand New Day, which sets up the next phase of the MCU, which is going to center around the X-Men, which I'm now excited for because of this show. So if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll enjoy that one. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.